धाम की, श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, श्री मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की, श्री वृंदावन धाम की, गंगा मई की, यमुना मई की, भक्ति देवी की, तुलसी देवी की, अनंतकोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नाम संकीर्तन याज्ञा की, राज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, स्कंद वर्तमान गुरुविंद की, वेद भक्त वृंद की, स्कंद ट्रांसलेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एंड प्रसादम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की, श्री स्नान यात्रा की, गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada.
Trying to switch. Oh no. Where's Krishna? Outside. Outside. I went to a house program.
Jayadata Matava Kunja Bihari Jayadata Matava Kunja Bihari Jayadata Matava Kunja Bihari Jayarata Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brachachanaranjana Yashodanandana Brachanaranjana Yashodanandana Brachachanaranjana Shodanandana Brachachanaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Chari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayarata Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayarata Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayarata Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayarata Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Radha Madhava Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Giranjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Namopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam papanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we are celebrating Snana Yatra, although the Purnima day was on Friday, I believe. Today is the day we celebrate Lord Jagannath's transcendental bathing ceremony. So I'd like to hear a bit about the glories of Lord Jagannath and in connection also to this day. I'll just start with some prayers to Lord Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. And then we explore a little bit why the Lord has taken such a form and what are the characteristics of Lord Jagannath. Deva Deva Jagannatha Prapanarti Vinashana Traimam Pundarikaksha Patitam Bhavasakare. O God of gods, O Jagannath, the Lord of the universe, please destroy this great distress that has overcome me. O lotus-eyed one, please deliver this fallen soul from the ocean of material existence. Namaste Jagadhadhara Jagat Atma Namostute Kaivalya Trigunatita Gunanjan Namostute. I offer my obeisances unto you, the support of the universe. To you, the very soul of the universe, I humbly bow. You are situated above the three material qualities and the impersonal Brahman as well. Yet, you are decorated with wonderful transcendental qualities. To you, I offer my respectful obeisances. These prayers are from the Skanda Purana. Karunamritapat dhodhi sudhame namo namaha dinodharaika guyaya kripa padodaye namaha. O you who are an ocean of nectarian compassion, and whose abode is most attractive, I offer my obeisance unto you again and again. You are the sole uplifter and deliverer of the fallen souls, but no one can understand how you do this. O ocean of mercy, I offer you my respectful obeisances. Paritrahi Jagannatha Dino Bando Namostute Nishtirno Hambhava Bodhim Prapaya Tvam Tarinam Shukam. O Lord Jagannath, please rescue me. O friend of the fallen, I offer my obeisances unto you. Please deliver me from this vast material ocean. Obtaining your lotus feet, I will become supremely happy. So these were 4 shlokas, and basically Jagannath was glorified in every shloka as most merciful, which is one of the main qualities of Lord Jagannath, that he is most merciful. That's also the reason why we worship him, because we need a lot of mercy. Then some prayers for Baladev, Shri Baladev Pranam. Namaste Tuhala Grama, Namaste Mushalai Yudha, Namaste Revati Kanta, Namaste Bhakta Vatsala. Obeisances to you, O holder of the plough, obeisances to you, O wielder of the mace, obeisances to you, O beloved of Revati, obeisances to you who are kind to your devotees. Namaste Balinam Shreshta, Namaste Dharani Dara, Pralambhari Namastute Trai Mam Krishna Purvaja. I offer my respectful obeisance unto Lord Balaram, the best of the strong and the support of the earth. Obeisance unto you, O enemy of Pralamba. Please deliver me, O elder brother of Krishna. And then Shri Subhadra Pranam. Devi Tvam Vishnu Maya Pi Moya Yanti Characharam Hrit Padamasana Sanshasi Vishnu Bhava Nusharini. O Devi, you are the Lord Vishnu's Maya, and as such you cause the bewilderment of all moving and non-moving living entities in the universe. Situated on the lotus seat of your heart is great loving devotion to Lord Vishnu. Jaya Devi Bhakti Datri Prasidha Parameshwari Jai Devi Subhadre Tvam Sarvesham Bhadradayini. All glories to you, the bester of Bhakti. You are famous as the supreme controller. All glories to you, Subhadra Devi, the giver of auspiciousness to one and all. And there are also prayers to Sudarshan Chakra. Sometimes we forget about Sudarshan. It's also there. Sudarshan Mahajvala Koti Surya Sama Prabha Agyana Timarandanam Vaikunta Bhada Pradarshaka. Namaste Nityava Vilasad Vaishnavastra Niketana Avarya Viryam Yat Rupam Vishnustad Pranami Aham. O Sudarshan, your great effulgence is as brilliant as millions of suns. You dispel the darkness of ignorance and thus reveal the path to eternal world of Vaikunta. I offer my obeisances unto the brightly shining Sudarshan Chakra, which never fails to offer all protection to the Vaishnavas. I humbly bow before Lord Vishnu's weapon of irresistible strength. Sudarshan Ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki Jai. So it's a nice prayer. We can offer praise to Sudarshan Chakra also to destroy our darkness, our illusion, ignorance, and to always protect us. So, of course, the question arises: why do we celebrate this festival, and why? I mean, it's a public bath today. Usually, the deities are bathed behind the curtain in the morning. Of course, the wooden darshan murti are not bathed every day. But the Lord is bathed in the form of his Shalagram Shilas. And actually, in the past we also did do Chota deity puja, and we bathed Lord Jagannath with a mirror. So we had Gonita on one side and Jagannath on the other side, the Chotas, 5 Chota deities. And then we did the whole puja, like the entire puja we do for the Shila on the other side with the Chota deities. And Gonita we bathed fully, and Jagannath we put Jagannath in the bathing Snanapatra, and then we had a mirror, and then we pour the water on the mirror, the reflection of Jagannath, like meditation. So Jagannath got everyday bath in the mirror. And of course the darshan deities we have clothes, we wash them every day. Yeah, but once a year we have the public bathing, right? So why is that? Why do we public bathe the Lord? Any idea? To make Jagannath accessible to everyone. Okay, yes. It's an opportunity for everyone to see the Lord, because also in Puri basically, for those who are not allowed to enter, like the Mlechas, people like ourselves, we are not able to enter. But then twice a year, I mean, at the ceremony of the bathing and the Ratha Yatra, that's basically when the Lord comes out. Because the bathing takes place on a terrace outside, so everyone can see. Actually, someone yesterday sent me some YouTube videos. Like in India, of course, it's a big thing. So even in television, they also have a live stream of Snana Yatra going on. You can see it, you know. You can check on the internet. You can see how they bathe the Lord. Very ecstatic. But the main reason why they do a public bathing was his birthday. No, on a child, there is a bathing ceremony when a child is born. So it's his birthday. But then we may wonder, well, wait a minute. I thought Jagannath is no different from Krishna, and Krishna's birthday we celebrate on Janmashtami, like that's later on. So, but this is the day when actually the Lord manifested in this form. I heard different sources. I heard that this is when actually the Lord manifested in 3 logs of wood. When he manifested in that way. We know the story of King Indradyumna. But also I heard that this is the day when they actually got installed by Lord Brahma. So it's basically the day when the Lord manifested in the form. And so that, in order to celebrate that day, which is mentioned in the scriptures, so on that day, the Lord gets a bathing ceremony because it's the day when he manifested. And of course, then another question that could arise is then, but why are they in this form? Why do they have such a form? Like, it's quite an unusual form, isn't it? And sometimes I also think, especially when you have guests coming, sometimes we have I do some interreligious dialogue, some Muslims come, anyway have a hard time to understand the whole concept of murti, and then, if you had just Radha Krishna on the altar, nothing else, just Radha Krishna, you could explain, this is Krishna, God, this is Radha, God's energy, Radha Krishna, male, female, God is, okay, fine, we can understand that. He plays a flute, okay, but has a peacock, maybe that's a bit strange, but otherwise they can understand, it's God, But then here we have Gauranga, Nityananda, 2 brothers who are actually not brothers, but they're brothers in the lost life. And then we have, on the right side we have this, I sometimes, we had some students, they came and they wrote an article about what they experienced, and they wrote like, and on the right side there were this like a gnome, or like kind of like dwarf, kind of a wooden, like some forest, creature or something. People have a hard time to understand what's going on. So why does the Lord appear in such a strange form? What's the answer? Why? Why has the Lord such a form?
Because Lord is strange.
The Lord is strange. Inconceivable Lord. We can't understand him. He's in ecstasy, yes. Sometimes people say, because of, he's unfinished. The story of King Indradyumna Maharaj, and then the carpenter said, okay, I will carve this wood, from this wood that mystically came in the ocean of Puri, so we will carve this murti. Give me 21 days, but you can't enter. And the king, was always listening. There were like some noises going on in the room, and after 14 days or so, there was nothing, no sound, and the king became anxious and so on. So he entered the room, and then the carpenter said, wait, we had an agreement, you can't enter, so he just left. And then there were the deities, unfinished. No arms, no legs, So sometimes devotees say, well, this is, the murtis are unfinished, and that's why they look like this. But of course, it's the Lord's arrangement. He wanted to appear in this form. But that's just the external. That's the external reason. But what is the internal reason? And you're right. The internal reason is because the Lord is in ecstasy. And what is that ecstasy? It's called Mahabhav. The Lord is in that very. Actually, Krishna feels separation. We say that Krishna feels separation from Srimati Radharani. But what about Baladev and Subhadra? Why do they feel the same ecstasy? And there is a story in that regard, and we can try to speak it. So Krishna left Braj Bhumi for Mathura, and then he went to Dwarka, where he established his own kingdom. And then there he married, as we know, 16,000 wives, all the queens of Dwarka. They all served him very nicely, but Krishna was not so happy. He was there physically, but in his mind and heart he was always with the Brijbasis, always with the gopis, with Srimati Radharani. And sometimes while Krishna was asleep, he would deliriously call out, Radhe, Radhe, Gopi, Gopi, I don't know, imagine, the queens, they were laying in bed with Krishna, and Krishna was sleeping, snoring, and then all of a sudden, Gopi, Gopi, calling out the name of another woman. So the queens, they felt like, what's wrong? Like we are 16,000, and we all taking care of Krishna, giving him all kind of pleasures, and he lives in all opulence here in Dwarka. Why does he still remember these village girls? What do these girls have that we don't have? Why is he still thinking about Radha? So they wanted to inquire, they wanted to understand, and of course, actually, the queens of Dwarka never will be able to understand fully, because their bhakti is mixed with Aishwarya and Jnana. They are, they have some awe and reverence towards Krishna as the king of Dwarka, and it's a different mood. Whereas in Vraj Lila, it's Madhurya Mai Lila, it's completely sweet, transcendental Lila, and this is a different, and it's described that whenever there is Jnana and Aishwarya, then love gets shrunken. The love cannot fully manifest if there is this awe and reverence. And therefore the queens will never be able to really understand. Only the pure devotees, they're also pure devotees, but the devotees in that Madhurya Rasa, they will be able to fully understand Krishna. In any case, they thought, let us ask Mother Rohini. Why? Because Rohini Ma, she was there in Vrindavan when Balaram and Krishna grew up, and Rohini, witnessed the pastimes in Vrindavan, and now she's there in Dwarka. So they requested her, please, you should tell these pastimes to all of us, and then we can understand what happened in Vrindavan and why Krishna has so much love. So Rohini said, okay, I can do that. But there's one problem. This Krishna Katha is so attractive. If Krishna and Balaram hear this Katha, they will become mad in separation and they will run away. They will not stay in Dwarka. No. So we have to avoid this, So what we do, we can gather, but then one person should stand outside the door and guard the door, nobody can enter. It's only for ladies. It's a Vaishnavi Sangha. And imagine, 16,108 ladies, all the queens. This is like in Oerlikon Zurich, we have the Hallenstadion. That's about the amount. It's a serious Krishna Katha event. So Mother Rohini, she started to speak, But who guards the door? So they requested Subhadra Mai. So okay, so Subhadra Devi, she kind of stood in front of the door, But still, she was curious. She also wanted to listen. So she let the door a little open and listen. And Rohini started to talk all the different pastimes, Krishna's appearance, how Putana came, and how Putana tried to kill Krishna with the poison on her breast, and then how Krishna killed Putana, then how Trinivarta came, and all the different pastimes, how Krishna danced on the hoods of Kalya, and how by that point all the gopis fall in love with Krishna, seeing the beautiful dance of Krishna on Kalya snake. So in this way all the pastimes were told, and the devotees became more and more ecstatic. And when Subhadra was listening to this Katha, she also became ecstatic. And she manifested some ecstatic symptoms by, the arms, they shrunk into her body, and the legs, and the eyes became very big. And Subhadra was standing there like this. So what happened? At that point, Krishna and Balaram, they heard that something's going on here, so they came. And they saw her sister standing there in this unusual ecstatic form. They were like, wow, what is this? What's going on? So they were listening at the door, and then they were just hearing some Krishna Katha. So Balaram stood on one side, Krishna on the other side. In the middle was Subhadra. And they were also listening, and then all of a sudden they also became ecstatic. Their eyes became big, their arms shrunk into the body. And then they were stood there like this. And that's how Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra were manifested. By hearing ecstatic Krishna Katha from the lips of Rohini in Dwarka. And what happened next? Narada Muni shows up. He's always there at the right place and the right time. So Narada Muni he comes and sees Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra in this special form. And then, somehow Krishna, Balaram, Subhadra, they kind of come back to their external sense and they kind of become normal. and Narada said, too late, I already saw your ecstatic form. I saw your form. And my desire is that this form shall be worshipped all over the universe. And of course, the pure devotee has a desire. Krishna can't deny. So by the blessing of Narada Muni, actually, we have the worship of Lord Jagannath all over the universe, and also at Zurich, in Zurich city. So this is one pastime. Of course, there is other stories also that describe why Lord Jagannath has manifested this form, but that's one of the stories. Explain how the Lord manifested such a form. And our temple here is also understood, known as New Jagannath Puri, right? We have Puri in India, and this is New Jagannath Puri. And of course, New Jagannath Puri in Orissa is a very special, very sacred place. It's also called Shri Kshetra or Purushottam Kshetra, or also Vipralamba Kshetra. You know, why Vipralamba Kshetra? Because as the Lord of the universe, the Lord who resides there, he's in that mood of separation to his devotees. So who is Jagannath? What is his mood? Jagannath is Lord Krishna in separation of Radha. But then we have another form of the Lord who's also residing in Puri, that's Gauranga Mahaprabhu. I mean, at least for 18 years of his life, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed and lived in Jagannath Puri, and that was not an incident. I mean, you can say the external reason was because Sachi Mata requested him to not be too far away. You know, don't go to Vrindavan. If you're in Vrindavan, it's so far away, I never hear any message. But you know, Bengal and Orissa, they're very close, and people travel back and forth. At least I can hear some, some stories about your activities. So that's the external reason why Mahaprabhu stayed in Puri. But the actual internal reason is because that's the place it's to be. That's the Vipralamba Kshetra. Because not only Jagannath is in that separation, Vipralamba, but Gaura also. But what is his mood? He is Krishna in separation of Krishna. I mean, he is Krishna, of course, in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Nevertheless, he is Krishna, so Krishna calling for Krishna. That's Gaura. So we just heard the story of Jagannath, how he manifested that mood of separation. And there is a nice story about how Krishna manifests that mood. Of course, Krishna manifests as Gauranga, but we find in Vrindavan there is a place which is called Pili Pokhara, which is a pond in Vrindavan, which is a little bit yellowish. And let me see, go here. And this is a pastime which, kind of shows how Krishna already kind of had a vision of his future incarnation as Gauranga. So one day, the great Durvasa Muni visited King Vrishabhanu's house. And we know Durvasa Muni is a special character, right? What is actually Durvasa mean? Yeah, Vasa means like it's a place or living, and Dur means difficult. So it's kind of it's a person difficult to live with. So, sometimes we have in ashram people, we feel, like, why is that guy in the ashram? Why I do have to share my room with this fellow? But also Durvasa Muni, because he can very easily become agitated and become angry at the small things. He can become angry, but at the same time he can be also very merciful and very kind. Because he's a partial incarnation of Lord Shiva. So he has that same quality of Lord Shiva. So when he came to to King Vrishabhanu's house, the sage was very nicely cared by Srimati Radharani. She took very nicely care of him. And in return for her pure service, the sage blessed Radha that whatever she cooked would taste like nectar and make whoever ate it immune to this disease and danger. That's a nice blessing, whatever you cook, it's nectar, tastes like nectar, and the people become, immune from disease. Of course, when Mother Yashoda heard about this blessing, she was determined that this girl should cook for my little Gopal every day. So that's how Radharani was invited to cook for Krishna. So every day Mother Yashoda reminded Balaram to protect Krishna from the demons. That was one thing, that one meditation she had, and every day she reminded Radha that Krishna would make a most suitable husband. This was the heart's desire of the Queen of Braj, to bring Radhika into her home as her beloved daughter-in-law. That was Mother Yashoda's desire, actually, that Radharani becomes her daughter-in-law. But of course, the marriage of Radha and Krishna is not possible in Vrindavan, because that's not how it works. They have this special relationship in which they are unmarried. That's an eternal feature, the Parakya Bhav. So, although in the Leela, Mother Yashoda may has that desire, but it's not happening. Anyhow, so in this passam here, Mother Yashoda takes kind of an endeavor to make it happen. So she proposes, so while Radhika was preparing to go home, Yashoda held her hand and said, Radha, you're now of marriageable age. I know no one more suitable for you than my son. So our families, we should meet and discuss this idea. And then taking Radha's small hands in hers, Yashoda gazed at the auspicious sign on Radha's palms, and with tears in her eyes, she took some haldi, turmeric, and smeared the turmeric in the hands of Radha, in her pinkish palms. Radha, do you know what this means? And Radha was puzzled, No, what is this? No, why? Yashoda, why you put haldi in my hands? And then she explained. If a young girl gets haldi in her hands, that means that she's engaged. So now I put haldi in your hand. That means now you're engaged with my little Gopal. So you go to your mother and you discuss the proposal. What she thinks about. So then Radha and her companions, they were making the journey from Nandagram to Varshana, and then they were kind of reflecting. So what to do now? Because Radha felt I'm too young. I'm way too young, and if I get married, I lose all my freedom. So we like to roam around in a forest here and there and do this and that. But if I get married, it's like it's too early. So she was worried. And then Lalita, she smiled. Radha, why are you so alarmed? Have your hands been painted with like paint or something? You just go to a pond and wash your hands, and then the problem is solved. Your mother will never see the turmeric in your hands. So then they went to the next bathing ghat, which was clear nearby, and Radha approached the water and leaned forward to wash her hands. Then she saw her reflection in the water, and for a moment she was amazed about her own beauty. And then she was thinking, wouldn't it be nice to always be in Gopal's company? She was kind of hesitating in some way. Of course, she also had a desire to marry Krishna, but at the same time she felt it was too early. So anyhow, so then she started to rub her hands together, and the haldi dissolved into the water and spread out in golden circular waves. And then she became so absorbed in the thought of Krishna while rubbing her hands, she just continued, and for a long time she was just washing her hands, just thinking about Krishna. She became completely lost in loving thoughts of Krishna. As Gaurangi rubbed and rubbed, her friends marveled at her new expression of love in her face. And then finally Chitra giggled and she said, Radha, look what you have done. The whole lake is now yellow. I think you washed your heart along with your hands. Quickly, let's go before someone comes and sees what you did. So the whole pond was yellow. So they left, the girls left. It was not only the haldi, but also Radha's ecstatic love for Krishna that had tinged the pond yellow. So then, what happened next? Of course, who shows up on the pond? Krishna. Krishna comes there, and he looked around, and he was searching for some calves that had run away, and she's looking for the cows. And then he saw that something's changed, and I know this place here, but something changed. It's a little different. What happened? And then he saw. He looked into the water, and he saw I look like a golden Krishna, he thought. How strange, because the water was golden, his reflection was golden. So then he touched his reflection, and suddenly he felt this, an ecstasy run throughout his body, like an electric shock full of ecstasy. And he was surprised. And he again touched the water and again felt that ecstasy. And he felt this is a very unique ecstasy because the love I feel is something new and remarkable. I no longer feel like an outside observer of prem, rather this feeling seems to have me as the object. So Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Shishi Gaura Nitai Jai. So then Krishna entered that yellow pond, and it's described let me see. So then he entered the water up to his knees, his waist, and finally up to his neck. And finally only the peacock feather atop his turban alone was visible above the surface moving around, and Krishna was under the water. And then when Krishna came out, he was completely turned, he was completely golden, and he was completely mad. He was calling out, Krishna, Krishna, where are you? Krishna, Krishna. And he was searching for himself in complete ecstasy and love for Krishna. And only after some time, the spell of this yellow pond kind of vanished away, and Krishna came to his senses, to his original identity. And again, he was looking for his cows. Where are the cows? So, but this pastime shows how there was kind of a vision that Krishna had, or an experience which indicated his further incarnation as Gaura Krishna, as Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Gaura Hari. Shri Gaura Hari Ki Jai. So in this way, in Jagannath Puri, we have these two crying forms. Gaura is crying for Krishna, and Jagannath is crying for Radha. Yei Krishna sei Gaura sei Jagannath. He is Krishna, he is Mahaprabhu. Gaura, he is Jagannath. There is no difference. There's no difference between Gaura and Jagannath, between Krishna, Jagannath. However, Mahaprabhu's mood is different. Krishna in the mood of Radharani is Mahaprabhu. That means Krishna form as Gaura is Krishna, Vira, Vidura Rupa, feeling pangs of separation from Krishna. That is the form of Gaura, who is Krishna himself, feeling separation for himself, Krishna. And Jagannath is Krishna who is crying in separation from Radha. So in this way, both present in Purushottam Kshetra, in Gaura and Jagannath. Gaura in Radhabhav crying for Krishna, where is my Pranavallabha, Shyama Sundar, and Mahaprabhu is crying for Radha. That's why Jagannath Puri is a very, very special place. And because the Lord is in such ecstatic mood, the Lord is also very, very merciful. Because he's so much in ecstasy, so much in love, he kind of forgets about other things, and he becomes also very compassionate. And we find very nice statements by Srila Prabhupada on the worship of Lord Jagannath. Let me just read some of them. Now this is from the Krishna Katamrita Bindu. So Prabhupada writes in a letter to Dayananda and Nandarani in early as 68. You asked, what is the difference between Jagannath deities and Krishna Murti, and why is the latter not fed and cared for as well as the former, and why are Jagannath deities more tolerant? So what is the difference Jagannath and Krishna, and why is Jagannath kind of, the worship is more easy? And And Prabhupada explains, so Jagannath is another feature of Krishna, and he is especially favorable to the people who are not strictly advanced in the Brahminical culture of the Vedic rituals. Lord Jagannath is situated in India at Puri. This place is one of the towns of Orissa. The people of Orissa and Bengal, they are sometimes fish eaters, about 90%. Prabhupada says sometimes, and it says about 90%. About 90% of the population are fish eaters. But still, Jagannath Swami in Puri accepts service from these people, although they are sometimes fish eaters. In the Kali Yuga, people are not so clean, and therefore service to Jagannath Swami is preferred. And then in another letter to Hanuman Prasad Podar, in 70, says, Prabhupada writes, when we first started a temple, we started with Jagannath Swami. My Guru Maharaj recommended the temple of Jagannath in these countries. So I was inspired to establish first of all Jagannath Swami because he is kind even to the mlechas. So Bhaktisiddhanta also, said, yeah, maybe in the Western world, maybe it's a good place for Lord Jagannath. So I think this is very significant for us to remember. And we know that Harikesh Swami at that time, who was the GBC and the leader of the Swiss Yatra, he purposefully wanted that Gaur-Nitai is being worshipped and Lord Jagannath installed. When the devotees asked for Radha Krishna, he said maybe later, but let's first have Jagannath and Gaur-Nitai, because we are not yet ready for Radha Krishna worship, because they're much more merciful. Then also when it comes to Prabhupada would encourage devotees to actually carve Jagannath themselves. We know how the first Jagannath came. Malati found some funny looking idols in an Indian store, and then she took them. She actually stole one of them, Lord Jagannath, and presented to Prabhupada, and she was quite surprised when the Swamiji all of a sudden got down and from his seat and offered obeisances and all kind of prayers. So like, oh. And then Prabhupada asked, were there two other? Yes, Swamiji, bring them. And then from these samples, then Prabhupada asked Shyamasundar to carve. He was good in carving, so, and then Shyamasundar was carving the first Jagannath deities in ISKCON, which were established in San Francisco. So Prabhupada says, so far as getting Jagannath deities from Jaipataka Swami, why are you making that extra expenditure? Means from sending from India. All our Jagannath deities are locally carved. Any boy who knows carving can carve Jagannath. And actually our deities were also carved in Austria by an Austrian devotee. So they are local, so to say, locally carved. And then Prabhupada speaks about bathing. And Prabhupada says, to continue a sense of devotion, it is better to wash the body of Lord Jagannath with hot water so that we may have the feeling that Lord Jagannath is more comfortable. When we do Abhishek, you could argue cold water, warm water doesn't matter. It's just a piece of wood, doesn't matter, Or you have also the Shila Puja, it's just stone. But that's not, that's not the meditation. We understand the Lord actually is there, and that's an expression of our devotion that we have nice warm water. Of course, we have warm water, and then we also have cold water at the end. Nice cold water. It's refreshing. Then dressing. I'm very much obliged to you all that you are taking care of Jagannath so nicely. The more you make the deity of Jagannath attractive, dressed, the more you shall become spiritually attractive. And that's a very nice principle that Prabhupada often said. The way when we nicely decorate the deities, then actually we become decorated by transcendental qualities. That's the meditation. Now we say if you wash pots, the heart becomes cleansed. So similarly, if you decorate the deity, then you become decorated by transcendental qualities. And they're beautifully dressed today. So certainly, pujaris, they get some more transcendental qualities. And then Prabhupada says, the decoration should be so attractive that when people see Jagannath, they will forget all the attractiveness of Maya. That's the idea, People come to the temple, wow, so beautiful. And they forget about any other beauty in this world, any other Maya. And then also Prabhupada says, the proper method of dressing Jagannath is as Kshatriya king, and there is no limit to the opulence you can give him. Yeah, Jagannath is a king, so that means Jagannath should always be dressed very opulently. And Prabhupada says there is no limit. And we have some pujaris, they take this very literally, singing of Shyamasaki. How many of these how you call it fans are there? Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. I can maybe see 5 or so. No, that particular pujari, she used to put 32 or so on one turban. No problem. Yeah, it's like wow, she really took it literally. There's no limit. But yeah, that's nice. That's the mood. So in this way, we can worship Lord Jagannath very nicely. So another very interesting feature, and time is running out, but we'll continue a little bit longer. Another interesting feature is that actually Jagannath is really the deity for this age. We find nice quotation in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Let me see. Daru chala rupa Krishna prakata sabrani prati. It's closer here. Darshana snani kare chivera mukati Daru Premarupa shakshat Shri Purushottama Bhagirati hana shakshat Jala Brahma sama. In this age of Kali, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaking, Krishna is manifest in 2 forms. What are the 2 forms? Wood and water. Thus, by enabling the conditioned souls to see the wood and bathe in the water, he helps them to become liberated. Lord Jagannath is the Supreme Lord himself in the form of a wood, and the river Ganga is the Supreme Lord himself in the form of water. Which is an interesting description. Usually Ganga Devi we understand as, Devi, Ganga, Mother Ganga. But here Ganga is even described as, non-different from the Lord, manifestation. And so there's 2. There is Jala and Daru. So Jala is the water and Daru is the wood. And that Daru Brahma, it's another name for Jagannath. Daru Brahma, that means like spiritual wood. It's not ordinary wood, it's spiritual wood. And that's the Lord Jagannath. And Lord Jagannath allows and accepts the worship of all. In that sense, all of the various conceptions of Lord Jagannath, which are there, and there is many conceptions, that's a whole separate class, but in the history, many different people have felt attraction to Lord Jagannath, and many people have worshipped Jagannath with different concepts and understandings. Sometimes you find Muslim people participated in Ratha Yatra. We have actually in the time where when Buddhism was, basically Hinduism was kind of kicked out of India and Buddhism was established, and some people they understood Jagannath as an incarnation of Buddha, Lord Buddha, and Jagannath was worshipped as Buddha. Then also there is an intimate connection to Guru Nanak. From the Sikh tradition, Guru Nanak actually visited Puri, and he was not allowed to enter the temple because he was not a Hindu. And then Guru Nanak, he sat on on a beach of the ocean of Puri, meditated, and actually then the Maharaj Prataparudra had a dream and was instructed by Lord Jagannath to let Guru Nanak enter. And yeah, there are many others, Shaivites also, and so on. So all the different concepts, basically, as Krishna says in Gita, Yeya tamama prapadyante, that I reciprocate with everyone according to how they surrender unto me. So similarly, according to the conception the devotees has of the Lord manifests himself. So, and that's especially a feature of Lord Jagannath, that he always, very actively interacts with his devotees and manifests a certain mood. And maybe we will just complete with this and then a song. Of course, another feature of this festival that we celebrate, Snana Yatra, is, what is another feature, special feature of this festival? Huh?
The elephant.
Elephant, yes, elephant Vesha. Right? Hati Vesha, also called. Hati means elephant. So the full moon day of the month of Jesta is the occasion of Lord Jagannath's Snana Yatra, bathing. And on this day, Lord Jagannath wears an elephant dress. In Oriya, it's called also Daryata Bhakti. There is a book, Daryata Bhakti, and there is a story. The story is given there. So in the village of Kaniyari, in the South India state of Karnataka, lived a devotee named Ganapati Bhatta. And that Ganapati Bhatta, he was a great devotee of whom? Ganesha. He was a great Ganesha devotee. And he was told that the Lord of the universe resides in Puri. The Lord of the universe resides in Puri? My Lord? Because he was a worshipper of Ganesha. For him, Ganesha was the supreme. Like in India, there you have many different Ishtadevs, and some have this understanding, like any manifestation is supreme and different aspects. So somehow he had that concept that Ganesha is supreme, or at least in his devotion, in his bhakti, that was his Ishtadev, Ganesha. So when he heard the supreme is in Puri, so he went to Puri and he wanted to see Ganesha. So he came to the city of Puri to see Lord Jagannath's Snana Yatra festival. Upon his arrival, he saw Daru Brahma, the Lord Jagannath, as Krishna. But then he was unhappy. What is this? What is this? What is his form? Very strange form. Where is my Lord? Where is my Ganesha? So Jagannath is said to be Daru Brahma, the transcendent Supreme Lord, in whom is contained all incarnation and demigods. But I'm not seeing my Lord. Where is Ganesha? How can I accept this true? How can I accept that this Jagannath is the incarnation of all the? How can I accept this? I don't accept. It's not true. So the Lord, knowing the heart and his Vanchakalpa, the fulfiller of all desires, became very happy seeing the one-pointed fate of his devotee for Ganesha. So then he manifested himself like an elephant, Gajana Rupa. So it's described that that Bhakta walked away and he just turned around just to have a last look, and at that moment the Lord manifested that Ganesha Rupa, that form, Hati Vish, with big ears and the trunk and like looking like an elephant. And then the Bhakta became very, very happy. Oh, actually he's my Lord. So in order to remember, because this took place also on the day of Snana Yatra, to remember that pastime in Puri, after the bathing, they always put that Hati Vesha at the end. So everyone can remember the devotion of that devotee, and especially also Lord Jagannath's very active reciprocation with his devotees. And of course there are many, many stories, but time is up. There's many stories how the Lord interacts with his devotees. And so we are very fortunate that Lord Jagannath has manifested here in Zurich also in this beautiful form. 40 years ago, And since 40 years we are worshipping him here. And today is certainly a very nice opportunity to offer prayers so that we may deepen our relationship with the Lord, no? That we deepen our devotion, our service to him. And that at the end of life we may be able to remember him. And with this I like to end with just one song, which was always sung by Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, who was, of course, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and a pure devotee by birth. He grew up in Orissa, in a Vaishnava family. And in that sense, because Lord Jagannath resides in Orissa, he's really an authority on Jagannath Tattva, and whatever I spoke today is basically from him. So he would sing every day, he would sing one song before the class. And as an acharya or a great personality is not speaking theoretically, actually he also manifested that lila at his end of his life. You know, we know the way he left his body was being in Mayapur during Gaurarti time. He was speaking Krishna Katha and just becoming so ecstatic, calling out the name of the Lord and leaving his body. So, and it's significant because every day he sung the following song. And I will read the translation afterwards. Paramananda Hemadava Padunga Luchi Makaranda Semakaranda Panakori Anande Bolo Hari Hari Harinka Name Vandavela Parikari Vechakadola Sechakadolan Kapayare Manamorahu Nirantare Manamo Nirarantatare Ha Krishna Boli Chivo Chao. O Supreme Blissful Madhava, the nectar is coming from your lotus feet. Drinking that nectar, I blissfully sing, Hari Hari. With the name of Hari, I'm binding a raft on which Lord Jagannath will ferry me across this ocean of material existence. There's an analogy. So there's a name of Hari, and I take that name of Hari. What is a raft in German? Like something to bind? As flows, yeah, as flows. You know? So I take the name of Hari, and I'm making a flows, a raft, like a boat. On that, Lord Jagannath will ferry me across the ocean of material existence. My mind always remains at the lotus feet of that Lord Jagannath, who has very large round eyes. No? That Lord with very large round eyes, I always remain at his lotus feet. In this way, I call out, Ha Krishna, and give up my life. Oh, husband of Radharani, please deliver me. And of course, that's the perfection of life, to always remember the Lord, and especially the time of death, and then return back home to him. Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki Jai, Snanayatra Mahamahotsava ki, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Bol, Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Or yeah, please.
It's a tiny comment
yes. Yeah.
On the issue of mlecha, you know?
Yeah. Yes, we are fortunate to have Lord Jagannath.
At least I used to have this belief that, mlecha means the West only, you know, and sort of, I think, oversimplified notion. Everything everybody in India, for example, is not a mlecha, and everybody in the West is a mlecha. But when you actually dig into the Bhagavatam, even in that verse, for example, in the second canto, what is it? Mlecha Hunindra Pulkasha Yavana, you know, anyone from the fallen races can take shelter of Krishna and so on. The definition that Prabhupada gives to those different races and communities in the purport, most of them actually are in India. And when you type the word mlecha in the Veda base, Prabhupada again and again defines mlecha as someone who rejects the Vedic principles, and especially as a meat eater, and is unclean.
Yeah. No.
So just a small reminder for us who are from European background, which also can be seen as, descendants of the Kshatriyas who were pushed away by Parshuram, so, descendant of Kshatriyas. We should, it's nice to feel humble, and and yes, we are fallen. There's cow meat in every, fridge around every apartment building in Europe. At the same time, though, India is not spared from also being mlecha, and ultimately the ultimate definition is, whether one accepts Vedic culture or not. Just wanted to throw that in.
Thank you. Yeah, I think of course for us most important is that Jagannath is Patita Pavan, that he is the one who rescues those who are fallen. Whether how much fallen we are or not, that's one thing. I mean, we are all fallen. That's for sure. At least I can speak for myself. But for us, the most important meditation is that there is someone who has the name Patita Pavan. He's very kind, and that's all the prayers we read in the very beginning. That Lord Jagannath is so merciful that by His mercy we also had a chance to become delivered. Yeah. Yes.
All I wanted to share that for my master's thesis, I did I used the example of Lord Jagannath because it's very long. So I had a case study on Lord Jagannath and the Jagannath Puri temple.
Oh.
And then I went through a lot of classical texts,
Mhm.
historical texts, and then found out that actually Lord Jagannath was the binding factor for so many communities, even in history. The Buddhists, the Muslims, the tribal community. And that's why Jagannath has such a great significance in religious history also. Because for Jagannath, for Jagannath it didn't matter, but Jagannath was a symbol for the deity, which kind of got everybody together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that also shows his merciful nature, that he accepted everyone as it is.
You can say an interreligious murti. It's kind of a place that has an important role in the sense of bringing people together, and of course that's the ultimate understanding of our Sanatana Dharma, in a sense of, Lord of the Universe means He's the Lord of the Universe. He's not the Lord of the Hindus, the Lord of the Puri, people in Puri, but He's the Lord of the Universe. That means the Lord of everyone. That combining factor. Yeah. Yes, Rashmi.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the lecture. I have several questions, and I already asked for forgiveness if I will be a little bit straightforward, but I have to. My first question is, what is temple? Is the word if any building which is called temple becomes a temple? Then I have few more questions. What is this place called where devotees, whom we call devotees, are sitting and the lecture is given, the questions are asked that there are women who are married, who do not have children, and they behave strangely, and the answer is not given to them by any of the people who are speaking after the lecture. What is this place called when all the instead of building the characters up of the congregational devotees, there is assassination done when the truth is not being properly revealed? And what
Rashmi, maybe we can discuss these questions separately. I mean, the question, what is a temple? Of course, mandir, a place is a place of worship. It's not just if you put a sign on the door of a place and you call it Krishna temple. That's not how a temple becomes a temple. Temple becomes a temple because of the worship of Lord. And of course, because the devotees who live in a temple, they create an atmosphere of Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha is a question of consciousness, that we feel ourselves as servant of the servants for everyone. There is a loving relationship. There is no envy. There is no envy existing. And there is glorification of the Lord. So that creates Vaikuntha atmosphere. Then we can call this as a temple. And a devotee is not a devotee just by putting tilak, but by actually developing all the qualities. So I agree with you. That's certainly what a temple should be, or what a devotee should be. But maybe we can discuss it separately if you have some experience which are not
Yes, Mujib. Okay, I'll just
Pleasing.
ask two basic questions. One is, what should be the limit of toleration, and how to deal with the devotees who are extremely manipulative and it's called...
At the limit of toleration, one of my Shiksha gurus said that if you ever want to attain Krishna Prema in your life, you should be able to tolerate as if the whole world trembles on your head. That's the limit of toleration. Taranada piso nichana, dorora piso ishana, amanina, manadina, kirtanya sadahari. We should become tolerant as a tree who tolerates everything. That's the tolerance that we need to develop in order to develop Krishna Prema. Now we spoke about the glories of Lord Jagannath and how to, develop that ecstatic love for him. In order to attain such love, we need to become humble and tolerant.
How to deal
I think I will end here with the class. Time is already a little bit. I think it's nice if you remember the glories of Lord Jagannath that we spoke, or try to speak in this katha, and meditate on that, rather on how we feel offended or disturbed. Jagannath Swami ki jai, Jagannath Baladev Subramani ki, Shri Gaura ki, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyas cha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Bhavyo Vaishnavibhyo.